This is breaking news.
10 worst contestants on The Circle, ranked. Netflix's The Circle has seen some great players throughout its run, and some pretty bad ones. Now in its 6th season, The Circle was a surprise hit reality competition series for Netflix. With 6 seasons under its belt now, players have a good idea of what strategies work and which ones don't. But this hasn't always been the case. Given this, it's not surprising that some of the worst contestants hail from the first season of the show. But there have also been players in subsequent seasons who didn't perform at their best, whether playing as themselves or catfishing as another person. The best players towed the line wonderfully between saying what people want to hear and playing as authentically themselves, even when the profile photo and some specifics of their true identities are withheld. But the worst players don't seem to mesh well with others, stir the pot, and slash or miss the mark. Brett Robinson's ego and questionable decisions made him a villain on Big Brother. He entered The Circle in Season 5 playing as himself, but was quickly sent home when he didn't mesh well with others. Oddly, however, the reason wasn't because his ego got the best of him, but because he was perceived as being standoffish. He had trouble communicating without his physical presence in the same room as the other person, and replicating the same confidence behind a screen. Brett had the chance to re-enter the game, playing as a 51-year-old woman named Jennifer alongside Xanthi Perdikomatis. Strangely, while he was one of the worst players as himself, he excelled at fooling others into believing he was a lovable mom, working beautifully alongside Xanthi. Fans initially weren't warning to Xanthi Perdikomatis. She chose to play as herself with her real profile photo. Most of the details she revealed about herself were factual except for her profession. She didn't want others to know she was a model, so instead, pretended to be a preschool teacher. Her loudness put off viewers, though others in the game couldn't hear that, of course. Nonetheless, despite making friends and alliances, she didn't stand out enough, or maybe stood out too much, which got her sent home early. As with Brett, Xanthi came off better playing alongside him as the 51-year-old Jennifer. She redeemed herself with a second chance opportunity, but playing as herself, Xanthi's game was sorely lacking. Bryant Wood wins the award for playing the most authentically, being exactly who he is in real life in The Circle. But this also meant that he didn't have much of a strategy. In a game where strategy is key, especially on what many consider to be the best season of The Circle, he wasn't playing the way others were and fell behind. Despite being universally liked by fans and players alike, Bryant came across as too much of a threat and as someone to whom the others couldn't relate. He was quirky and outgoing, but he put too much of himself out there too quickly, proving that maybe he was just too good of a person for the manipulative game aspect of the competition. Caress Russell made a valiant effort attempting to play as her brother Paul, but she didn't fully immerse herself in his personality and came across more like herself in the chats, instantly making people suspicious that she wasn't who she said she was. Paul is one of the first people others suspected might be a catfish, proving Caress wasn't doing as good of a job as she could have been doing. Further, she was accused of stirring the pot and tried to rile people up, contrary to the calm, cool, and collected profile photo she used to personify the person she was trying to be in the game. While Caress started to finesse her game and play better in later episodes, she was always at the bottom of the rankings. Terilisha had one of the biggest falls from grace on the show. She started out being among the most popular, an instant influencer and someone with whom everyone wanted to align. But her bluntness, while appreciated, didn't translate well in a game where only text-based messages can be shared without context, facial expressions, and clear intent. She made enemies and her game became more about getting people out that she didn't like or get along with than it was about making strong alliances to help her game. She engaged in a heated argument with another player when avoiding that would have been the better decision. In a game that's reliant on ranking high with a small number of people, that was a fatal error. She needed to play more rationally and with less emotion. The most awkward pairing, Ed and Tammy Eason, played together as son and mother. It didn't make much